It is the deadliest house-to-house street brawl since Way City, Vietnam. For 6 battalions of U.S. soldiers and Marines, it is the fight of their lives. Armed Iraqi insurgents hide in the corners of houses, waiting for the perfect shot. Here now are first-hand accounts of close-quarters combat of the scariest kind. Many of them never before told. Shootout, D-Day, Fallujah. In the words of one Marine, if Fallujah isn't hell, it's in the same zip code. Iraq, capital city, Baghdad. 35 miles west, Fallujah. November 17th, 2004, 3 p.m. Private Sean Stokes of 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, is eager to call it a day. He's been acting as point man for his fire team since early this morning. Stokes' 50-man platoon, like every other Marine unit in Fallujah, is on a search and destroy mission. Searching houses to find and kill Iraqi and other Arab extremists who are armed and deadly. Today, as point man, it's been Stokes' job to enter each house first. And it's like playing Russian roulette. Most houses are empty, but when insurgents occupy one, there's usually a machine gun barrel inside, trained at the front door.
Every house I walk up to, I'm saying a prayer like, get me out of this one, Lord, please, you know. Come out, light up a cigarette, thank him, go to the next one, say a prayer, go in.
Most of the insurgents, especially in this southern section of the city, are foreign fighters. And they're here to die, so they have no plans to run when the Marines come knocking. They've come to Fallujah to martyr themselves and to take as many Americans with them as possible.
These are guys who were experts at their profession. They were true warriors from Chechnya, from Yemen, Sudanese, and Iraqi former Republican Guard guys. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to use weapons. They understood the principles of an ambush. Really good fighters.
They're also quite dangerous. As a strategy to defeat the U.S. troops' excellent body armor, the insurgents take aim directly at their faces.
They stayed in the houses. They were like spiders, and they just waited for the perfect face shot.
After a stress-filled day, Stokes and his fellow Marines reached the last small neighborhood block in their sector.
Everything seemed totally quiet, you know, just like every other time we got ambushed. I went into the house, stepped into the main hallway. One door to my direct left was a metal black door with no light, and I looked at it and got the chills and was like, we're doing that one last.
Stokes and his other team members clear all but the last 2 rooms with no sign of trouble. As they approach the second-to-last room, immediately adjacent to the metal door, the lucky streak ends.
The number 2 man behind me started firing at the door next to me. He later told me that there was an AK barrel about knee level that slowly came out of the door and was aiming up at my back.
Just after the gunfire erupts, Stokes sees an insurgent roll a grenade into the hallway and slam the door shut again.
Well, it blew up in between all of us. No one really got bad. We all took a few pieces of shrapnel. It was no big deal.
Just days earlier, Stokes had taken a small piece of shrapnel in the elbow when a grenade exploded near him in an alley.
It feels like a bee sting, but with all the adrenaline going, you don't really feel it. You just feel the weight of it hitting you, and it kind of sends, you know, just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up because you're like, how bad am I hit?
Now, the Marines decide there's no need to hang around.
We all started screaming, you know, get out of the house. We're going to have a tank take down the house so we don't lose any Marines. And we have no idea what's in that room. Since I was the first one in, I was the last one out. and I turned to run out, and right as I turned, they rolled another grenade out, and that one was right at my feet. I turned to run, I turned my head like this, and I stick my hand out, and it blows up and throws me down the hall.
The blast hurls Stokes 6 or 7 feet, despite his weight of some 240 pounds with full combat gear. Miraculously, he's still alive.
I was ridiculously dizzy.
But Stokes still manages to bring his assault rifle into action. As insurgents spill out of the room and open fire.
I was in the middle of the hallway, and they opened the door, and I started knocking them down when they came out.
Stokes is now alone in the house with the insurgents, and he's trapped. There is an exit door in a room behind him, but it's held fast by 2 large padlocks. The only way out of the house is past the insurgents, and the stunned Marine can't even stand up straight.
I got up, tried to run out, and fell down because I couldn't even, it was like running around in circles.
It gets worse. His ammo magazine is almost dry. There's no time to change it, so he starts prepping a hand grenade.
Fired my last 3 rounds, clicked the safe off, was about to throw the grenade.
Suddenly, with a thunderous crash, Stokes' fire team leader, Lance Corporal Heath Kramer, sails through the locked door at the end of the hall.
He took a 15-foot running start and bulldozed the door down. He broke the frame of the door and picked me up.
At the same instant, a Marine machine gunner appears in the doorway and opens fire to suppress the insurgents while Stokes reaches safety. Stokes' fire team leader helps him outside and checks his condition. Amazingly, there are no deep wounds, and the front of his body is virtually free of shrapnel.
When I turned, my back was covered with it. The rocket I had in my back had a bunch of bigger pieces stuck in it, but there's something in front of me, invisible. All the people praying for me back at home.
Within minutes, an M1 Abrams tank arrives and eviscerates the house.
Later found out there was 8 Chechens in there, and if I would have gone in that room first, I wouldn't be here right now.
Ultimately, Sean Stokes' most severe injury from his brush with the insurgents is a level 2 concussion caused by the grenade blast. Yet despite his pain, he's back with his unit, clearing houses 3 days later. The Stokes episode is a humbling tale of physical courage and fortitude, both on the part of Stokes himself and his fire team leader, Lance Corporal Kramer. But what may be even more remarkable is that such incidents are nothing less than commonplace in the hellish 2-week slugfest dubbed the Fight for Fallujah. Unfortunately, many of the Marines and soldiers in the innumerable bloody shootouts will not survive to recount their extraordinary deeds.